Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video. Now before we get into today's video, I would like to say a huge thank you to Justin Coquillian for sending in some awesome, a true treasure trove of fantastic pictures of his Praetorian Guard army. These lads are the Praetorian Combined Brigade, aka the Faltaurians, and they look absolutely fantastic. As any Praetorian army should look, it looks spiffing. Dare I say spiffing? I do dare it. I've said it twice now. I really, really love this army. You can just tell it is a passion project. I mean, everything from, I'm looking through some of the notes that Justin has sent me. You've got the converted Matilda Rust, the Churchill Aviary, all this kind of stuff just looks absolutely fantastic. It's just, I just love seeing a guard army like this. There's this, I could go on, I could do a whole video just going on about how much I love this guard army. So thank you, Justin, for sending in some absolutely incredible pictures of your fantastic Praetorian Guard army. You've done the Emperor proud. If anybody else has got some cool pictures they want me to use in my videos, then please post them on my Facebook page, or you can email them to me at mordianglorytv@gmail.com. and don't worry if you can't remember that, there will be a link down in the description below for both the Facebook page and my email address. But without further ado, let's crack on with today's video. So in today's video, guys, I'm going to be continuing to delve into cool combos, crunchy combos that you can do with the new Cadence supplement. Now I know many of you will be going, "Oh, Mordian Glory, you're just going on and on about this Cadence supplement." Well, the thing is, it's really important, and I really am enjoying using the Cadence supplement. And what I feel has happened here, especially with the combination of the balance patch, the Cadence supplement, the Psychic Awakening, the Greater Good, what we're starting to see here is almost, I feel like we've passed the tipping point. We've got to this point with the Guard where there's so many interesting combinations that can be made out of all of these different stratagems and whatnot, that it really does give us access to some truly, truly powerful options. And the one I want to talk about today is the 72-inch range Thunderhammer. 72-inch range Thunderhammer cannon. That sounds pretty crazy. Well, I have actually, for those of you that follow me on Facebook, I have actually done a video on this sort of tactic already, but I'd like to do it on the main platform, obviously, which is YouTube. But I'm going to use this as a bit of a springboard for, and a bit of an example of how crazy the combos can get now that we've got Psychic Awakening, Greater Good, Cadians, all this stuff. It's just crazy. So how do you get a 72-inch range Thunder Cannon? Well, first thing that you're going to need is a Lehman Russ Tank Commander. Okay, so you take one Lehman Russ Tank Commander and you give that cheeky Zogger a battle cannon. And then because you've given him a battle cannon, you go, you know what? I'm going to be taking the Cadian supplement, because I'm playing competitively with Guard, and that's the most competitive way to go at the moment, with sort of my regular hybrid Guard. So I've got a Tank Commander with a battle cannon. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him Gatekeeper. And for those that don't know what Gatekeeper does, it is a new relic battle cannon available only to the Cadians, which is basically like a better version of the old Hammer of Sunderance from the Vigilus Defiant days. And for those of you that don't know what the Hammer of Sunderance is, it's very simple. It's a battle cannon that has flat damage 3. Gatekeeper is also a battle cannon that has flat damage 3, but also, just as a little extra spicy seasoning on top of that, it does get +1 to wound against Chaos. Now we're not going to take that into account at this point because that's a nice to have. A lot of you are pretty certain you're going to face at least one Chaos army when you go to a tournament, but we won't divert down that tangent just yet. Anyway, so you take a battle cannon, you make it a relic battle cannon. Now you've got a flat damage 3 battle cannon. That looks pretty tasty, am I right? And now it's a battle cannon. It's 72-inch range, which already is like, oh, that's easy, right? That's easy, but it doesn't stop there. Because what you can do, unlike with like Pasco or other named characters or whatnot, you can give a tank commander a tank ace. And there is nothing at the moment that says that you can't combine a tank ace with a relic battle cannon or with a relic. So what you do is you take your relic battle cannon, you take on your tank commander, and then you make that tank commander a tank ace, and you give him weapon expert. I know, this is the week of weapon expert, isn't it? I talked about weapon expert in the last video. Probably should have combined these two videos together, but that takes a more organised person than me to do that. So that means by taking weapon expert on your cheeky little tank commander, you now have a battle cannon which is AP -3. which is pretty good. Pretty damn good. That's like, what, a Thunderhammer or Thunderhammer in the Assault Doctrine these days? Can't keep up with all these marine changes. But the point is, you've now got a weapon that is 72-inch range, strength 8, AP -3, flat damage 3. Now, that AP -3 is really, really important. Okay, because there is a lot of stuff out there these days that AP -2 just doesn't cut it. There's actually plenty of factions out there, like New Sisters of Battle come to mind, which just like start ignoring like AP -1 and 2. At the very least, they like reduce it down. And so then you've also got Storm Shields and whatnot. So you've got, you know, if you've got someone with a Storm Shield in cover, then they're on a 2-up save, and your battle cannon doesn't touch the sides on them. You know, there's loads of stuff which, you know, which has that kind of problem. You've got Terminators with Storm Shields. You've got Sacrosancts from the Sisters of Battle again. They have Storm Shields. You've got Vanguard Veterans sat in cover. They've got Storm Shields. And a lot of these units are on like a 1-up save when they're in cover, and you're really struggling to, if you're shooting at them from 72 inches away, or maybe a little bit closer, we'll look at that in a moment. The point is that you're probably not going to be in sort of astropath range. Even if you are taking astropath range, it's going to be difficult to remove their cover. And so because of that, you're going to need this AP -3, because if you've got like Vanguard Veterans, which are on like a 2-up save out in the open, and you know, then they're in cover, you know, you're not actually kicking them onto that invuln. And what I like to do is like, you really want to be kicking people onto their invuln. So if they're on like a 1-up save and cover, -3, you actually will probably kick them onto that 4-up. But you know, because they're going to go from the 1-up to the 2-up to the 3-up to the 4-up. Yeah, so that's actually pretty good. But what if you're facing something like, even, you know, you have units out there which have got like a 2-up save with a Storm Shield in cover. They're on like a 0-up save, you know, New Custodians and whatnot. I have been told that the New Custodians will be losing their 3++ invulnerable save, and they'll just be going to like a 4-up. Could be wrong. We'll see what happens. But the point is you're definitely going to want something that's like AP -3 or even AP -4. Because again, this right at this point, this combination has cost you, you know, 0 to 1 CP. If you're taking 2 tank cases, it's cost you 1 CP. And that's great. That you may not want to take it any further. We've talked on the channel before about having like different sort of levels of buffs that you can apply. So sort of this is like the bronze level or entry level. You just take a tank case, you bang it on with the Gatekeeper, and yeah, you got an AP -3 flat damage to your battle cannon. That's pretty good. You've also got things like, another thing that you're using on the -3 is because obviously you've got Hive Guard, which can, with via certain things, ignore AP 1 and 2, which is, you know, you're going to be wanting, that negates your Manticores potentially. So this is a good source if you can get around the flanks and blow them up, that's great. But also, like it's going back to the original point, you might have units which have got 2-up saves in cover with Storm Shields, like Terminators, and those guys you're going to need to push them really onto that invulnerable save. And the way you do that is you can combine Tank Commander, Gatekeeper, Weapon Expert with Shock Troops. And Shock Troops is actually really, really effective on a battle cannon. So how Shock Troops works is a Cajun stratagem. If you use it on a vehicle, it costs 2 CP. And it counts as you've been standing still. So at the very least, you're going to be re-rolling 1s, even if you've moved. But also, you can go, if you want to try and get a flank on some of those cheeky Hive Guard. And I have done this, where I've gone the full 10 inches and then been able to draw from my line of sight and then been able to blow at some Hive Guard. I've done that in a tournament game. I was only able to do that because of Shock Troops. But not only does it let you do that, but it also means that you can get an, if you're within half range, which of a battle cannon is 36 inches, you get an extra AP. Now, normally using like Shock Troops is kind of difficult to pull off because, you know, you might, like, you think you might want it, like on the previous video we talked about using it on a Punisher and, you know, having to be within 12 inches. But on I actually think the best way of using Shock Troops is on a really long range gun, because that lets you get an extra AP. Basically, for a lot of people's armies, maximum range, but for you, it's like 36 inches, which is like half the range of a battle cannon. A lot of people say, like, oh, you don't need 72-inch range in the battle cannon, you don't need 120-inch range in the Manticore. I really like having those long ranges now, is all I'm going to say, thanks to things like Shock Troops. So now you've got an AP -4 battle cannon, which, even if you've moved to get an angle on it, is going to be rerolling 1s to hit as well. I mean, that's just really, really nice. But that's kind of like bronze tier, silver tier sort of level of buffs that you can put on. You know, that's 2 CP. That is literally a relic, a tank case, and 2 CP, and you're having a great time. But you might want to take it even further. And this is what I'm talking about. There's so many layers of buffs. Thanks to all these supplements, there's so many layers of buffs that we can put on our vehicles, on our units. So the next thing you might want to be doing is you might be like, you know what? I want to get as many shots as possible out of this combination. So firstly, I should say, not only because you've used shock troops, so you're cat standing still, that means when your tank ace is doing a tank order, he can order himself to pound them into dust. So if he wants to, he can re-roll the random number of shots on those battle cannons, which is really, really good. It means you don't have the tube stream re-rolling ones to hit and random number of shots. You get both. So that's the first and second to mention. Second thing you mentioned is that you can then use load, fire, reload on the tank commander, which gives him exploding sixes against any target, and that's 1 CP. So you're looking at like 2d6, rerolling the random number of shots, strength 8, AP -4, flat damage 3 shots, ruling ones to hit with exploding sixes against any target. If you're targeting a vehicle, then those sixes will explode into three hits, not just 2 hits. That's how load, fire, reload works. If you're targeting anything, a 6 to hit gets an extra hit. If you're targeting a vehicle or a monster, and what's around the corner, guys? If anyone's been keeping an eye on the leaks, Nidzilla is round the corner. Big old full armies of monsters from Tyranids are going to be making a comeback, and this is going to be needed to deal with them. So against big monsters, each 6 becomes 3 hits. Not 2 hits, not 1 hit, 3 hits. Absolutely insanely powerful. But it doesn't end there, because there are more layers of buffs that you can add on to this crazy thing. This is what I'm talking about with Cadians. Cadians, it's about, you can really juice up a unit if you've got the CP to burn 6. You can burn 6 or 7 CP on a single unit. It's insane. So right now, we're looking at 3 CP that's been spent. You've got shock troops and you've got load, fire, reload. But what if you're targeting one of those dreaded dreadnoughts? The dreaded dreadnoughts. Okay? Which Marine, Chaos player, Custodes player, every one of them, who isn't taking dreadnoughts? Am I right? Everyone's taking them. It's insane. I don't think I've been to a tournament where I haven't, at least in one game, faced double or triple Volkite Contemptor dreadnoughts at some point. Or Redemptor dreadnoughts, or something else just obnoxious, right? Well, if you do happen to face a dreadnought, you don't need to worry about using your order to reroll random number of shots, because for another 2 CP, you can do Hail of Fire, which is not from the Cade supplement, but we're back to the Greater Good now. Tank Ace is from Greater Good. This is from the Greater Good. When a Limrus is targeting an enemy vehicle, instead of rolling the random number of shots, you just get max shots. So now you're on 12 shots, just straight up from this battle cannon. Strength 8, AP -4, flat damage 3, rerolling ones to hit, and any 6 that you get against that vehicle is an additional 2 hits, so 3 in total. So now, assuming that out of those 12 shots, you should get you should get 2 6s, right? You should get 2 6s. So your 12 shots are actually going to go, you're going to get 4 additional hits. So your 12 shots could easily, and bearing in mind you're rerolling 1s, so you should hit with, you're going to miss with 2? And then you're going to get 4 additional hits. So you should get, out of 12 shots, you should get 13 or 14 hits. And that's just insane. Just bonkers. And then most of these dreadnoughts, you're going to be wounding them on 3s. If it happens to be a Chaos Dreadnought, Gatekeeper kicks in and you're wounding it on 2s. How mad is that? And if it's a Chaos Dreadnought, why don't you just juice another CP into this thing? Because right now you're on 5 CP. Because you spend 2 for shock troops, 1 for load, fire, reload, 1 for Hail of Fire. If you're facing Chaos, juice another CP into it. And do Vengeance for Cadia. Full rerolls to hit, full rerolls to wound. I have had this combination go off into a Leviathan. An Iron Warriors Leviathan Dreadnought. Juiced up on its own demonic energies, and Gatekeeper blew it away in 1 turn. Because I think I got 18, something mad, 16 or 18 hits thanks to the rerolls from Vengeance for Cadia. wounding it on like, I think it was 2s or 3s, because it's you get +1 to wound, 4s to wound. It just blew a Leviathan Dreadnought away in a heartbeat. It was insane. Now, you may not have access to, you may not be fighting Chaos. If you're not fighting Chaos, then what you could do, if you really want to make sure that this thing hits like a freight train, you've always got overlapping fields of fire. Use Pask. This is why I always take Pask also with a battle cannon. I know people like him with the Punisher. Hell, I'm going to start trying him out with the Punisher. But the reason I like taking this combo with Pask is that Pask can't take Gatekeeper, by the way. Let's just clear that up. But what Pask does is he uses his normal battle cannon, same range, so he's complementing the Gatekeeper Tank Commander, and he chips off a few wounds, then you overlapping fields of fire, and then you launch this thing in. Gatekeeper is honestly fantastic. I've had Gatekeeper pick up handfuls of Custodian Spikers because I couldn't do all the buffs that I'm talking about now, but you know, it's just so good. And that's when we start looking at, we're not even on like gold tier, we're on like platinum tier now. And the point is that that's like, what, 6 CP? 7 CP? It's possible for you to spend 7 command points. 2 for shock troops, 1 for load, fire, reload, 2 for hail of fire, and then 2 for Vengeance of Acadia, 7 command points, and you just put them all into one vehicle. You guarantee it's going to kill anything it shoots that gun at. It's going to absolutely decimate it. You know, it's really powerful. So there's so many just levels that you can just add on to this thing, and this is what I wanted to use this as an example of. I know I've been going on, it might seem like, oh, you're just talking about shock troops again, you're talking about load, fire, reload again. Yeah, I am. But how many different ways have I, go back and watch this, how many different ways have I talked about load, fire, reload? How many different ways have I talked about shock troops? I've talked about using it on manticores, I've talked about using it on infantry, now I'm talking about using it on Leman Russes. We're talking, and it's not just about doing it on like a basic Leman Russ, it's about pulling together all these different layers of buffs. And this is what I mean when I'm saying Cadian is a CP hungry bitch. It's a hungry bitch, Cadia. It wants your CP. It's thirsty. It wants to glug down the CP by the pint. That's what it wants to do. So it is really, really interesting. And there's a positive and negative to this, because obviously it means that a lot of our buffs are coming from command points, so we need to find ways of taking as many as possible. And you know, and when the command points start running out, you definitely notice like just a drop in your army's power level. I'm not going to deny any of that, but what I wanted to use this video as an example of truly how many layers of buffs you can add on to something. I'm sure I've missed some. If you can think of any other layers of buffs that you can add on to this thing, please let me know. Please let me know, because this just sounds, it just sounds like we've got so much, just layers upon layers of different things that we can do, different combinations. You know, that would be, tell you what would be really interesting, guys. Anyone who's made it to the end of this video, congratulations, thank you very much. But anyone who's made it to the end of this video, please put down in the comment section below other combos you've come across. I've talked about 2 this week. I've talked about, making Punisher cannons great again. I've talked about making a 72-inch range Mega Thunderhammer launcher cannon of doom. But I'm sure there's loads of other combinations. Obviously, you can load, fire, reload on those manticores. Obviously, shock troops is fantastic on manticores because its half range is 60 inches. So it's always in half range. So it's a great way of getting past those Hive Guard bastards who ignore AP -1 and 2 because you just make your Manticore -3 and you give those Hive Guard the middle finger. So any other combos, those are the 3 that I've covered so far. But I am going to be doing a little bit more maybe on the infantry ways of doing the new combos as well. But that's what I've come up with. I want to know what you guys have come up with. Give me your cool ideas, and I will review them all. And if any and all of them potentially that stand out as fantastic things that we need to share with the rest of the guard community, I'll do videos on them. I'll do a roundup. If it's a particularly crazy one, I'll do a standalone video on it. So put your ideas down in the comment section below. As always, let's share this content. Let's share our tactics. Guard are resurgent at the moment. We're not climbing the top tier tables, we're not podiuming left, right and centre, but we're fighting our way into a solid middle table, mid-tier position. We're just under that sort of consistent 50% win rate. You know, a few months ago, we were looking at 20%, 30% win rate max. Now we're looking at 40% min. That's where we're at now. So come on, guard community, let's pull together, share our ideas, and hopefully we can just keep climbing that ladder, doing what guard do. We don't jump up in a release. We grind our way forward, attrition-wise, and we do that by all of us sharing idea, pooling our collective knowledge, and using it to take enemies by surprise and to win games that people think we shouldn't win. But that's the sweetest victory of all. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Before I sign off, as always, I want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. It is thanks to my Patreon supporters that I'm able to get the new supplements and everything, pool over them, think about all the crazy combos, and then combine them together, and it helps me put these videos together for you guys. So massive thank you to the Patreon supporters. If you're interested in becoming a patron, there is a link down in the description below. I don't monetize any of my videos. I don't have any levels to my Patreon. It's purely just sort of public funded. If you want to chuck me $1, want to chuck me any, $20, I'm just grateful for anything. I'm just grateful for anything, and my patrons are truly, they are the lifeblood of this channel. So once again, I'm not going to overdo it, but once again I'm going to say massive thank you to the patrons. Anyway guys, we'll end this video there. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.